Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day to start things off. Bitcoin rose on renewed optimism for a second 19 stimulus package while the US dollar has plunged. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said a bill for the compromised aid is the only way after confirming a fruitful 45-minute telephone discussion with Steve Mnuchin. Simultaneously, Mitch McConnell, the majority leader, warned his lot not to negotiate a pre-election deal, stating the U.S. cannot stomach another huge federal package, and I was like, hedge fund package. Anyway, printing more money would be a bad idea. In April, Congress had approved a $2 trillion relief fund to help American households and businesses through the flood of new money into the economy via the Federal Reserve's unprecedented bond buying program also repaired markets that in March had crashed. The news is right now, as you might have imagined, it says Bitcoin breaks 12,300 US dollars as chance of a US stimulus deal by weekend increase. Crypto market cap gained $7 billion as Bitcoin blasts through $12,000. And this one says Bitcoin poised to resume rally after second move above 12,000 US dollars. A lot of people are very optimistic that this stimulus package is going to go through. While this may be fantastic for the people who are going to be receiving it, the entire idea is if this package is approved, they will need another couple $trillion to pump into the market. I was just watching something. It's like one of those online news programs type things. It was something. It was titled something along the lines of, "Why hasn't the stock market reacted to the economy?" And it was basically all the stuff we've been going over for the last couple of months. It was the printing by the Federal Reserve, because normally in times of panic, it takes them about a good 6, 7, 8 months to kind of come together and say, okay, we got to get this together. We got to create more money and we got to push it into the markets to keep things afloat. But I think theirs happened a day after we heard that, 19 was 19ing all over the place. And that's what really caused stock markets to go up and continuously go up. And this is why we had news a couple of months ago that there were all new highs in the stock market. So as it stands right now, if logically there is another package that's going to be coming, we are going to probably see the stock market lose its mind and start rocketing upwards, because the news apparently is that while a huge portion of this will be going to, it says, American households, a large part of it will also be going to the tons of businesses that have closed down, and also the mega billion-dollar companies who need no real help because they should have had that in their back pocket in the first place. They will also be getting this help as well, and one can only assume that a large number of that will also be going into securities. The other side of it being is that when we heard about this possible news of a second package, the US dollar fell and Bitcoin rose. If you keep printing the US dollar, the value of the US dollar is going to drop. And finally, logic went into the market and Bitcoin rose in price. We will see what the rest of the week brings for us. Today is Wednesday. I give it by Friday. I was discussing with my friend yesterday. This was even before I had realized that there was another talk or discussion about a second 19 thing going on. I told him give it until Friday. I have a really weird feeling that something crazy is going to happen on Friday. Anyway, the cryptocurrency market's up. The US dollar is down. I have not checked what these stock futures are doing. I assume they're also slightly pumping as well. Very weird year. But we'll see where this all leads us. And without further ado, let's move on. Next up, also in quite very popular news, a UK fintech company known as Mode Global Holdings has announced today that it will hold up to 10% of its treasury reserves in Bitcoin. The cryptocurrency purchase makes Mode the first publicly traded company in the United Kingdom to announce significant Bitcoin holdings. Mode has joined a growing number of publicly traded companies recently announcing substantial investments in Bitcoin, including U.S. software giant MicroStrategy and payment processing firm Square. Mode, which has a Bitcoin banking app, was listed on the London Stock Exchange earlier this month. It said that its Bitcoin allocation is part of a long-term strategy to protect investors' assets from currency debasement. I don't have to really read anymore. They talk about the Bank of England, 320-something years, money. We truly believe that Bitcoin is a vehicle for financial empowerment, and through Mode, investors can gain exposure to the highly attractive asset class through a listed and fully compliant company. Quite popular news. It appears every couple of days we're getting a new company who is coming forward to announce that they have put large amounts of money into Bitcoin. There is, or there isn't, there we go, however, a number for this company. I have looked around, and the number that I keep getting is nothing. I rather they put stuff into Bitcoin, but there's no actual number as to how much they put into Bitcoin. Like we heard from MicroStrategy, 45 million, Square had 50 million. But no real number from this company. However, 10% of their cash reserves into Bitcoin is still incredibly significant. And I assume they did this before the little pump last night, so they've made a good chunk of change. Anyway, yeah, this is going to continue happening. I assume that there are many other companies who have done the exact same. They simply have not come out publicly. Because once again, as always, whenever there is a gigantic company somewhere, whether it might be MicroStrategy and or Square and or what's the other one? It's not Facebook. It is Grayscale. People are going to start contacting them, and they also have friends. Don't forget that. They have other rich friends who are like, why did you do this? Show us exactly what you went through. We're going to start allocating a portion of our funds as well, even if it's just like 0.5% or 1% when you come to a multi-billion-dollar company. It adds up rather fast. Anyway, the news doesn't move on news like this. The prices don't move at all. They kind of stay the same. So eventually I think we'll get there where people kind of join the fray and really just understand how significant this news is. Anyway, that's the UK listed firm has dumped 10% of their cash reserves into Bitcoin news. And without further, London has really weird buildings. Really insanely weird. Like this building looks like London to me, but this just looks kind of all over the place. And this one always looks like it's going to fall. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Or rather, let's continue on. What's wrong with me today? I have no idea. I think it's because I have so many things to do. I'm just trying to, I guess, squash through it because I have way too many things to do today. The Central Bank of the Bahamas has officially launched its national digital currency. The first of its kind in the world that has been fully deployed. It is known as the Sand Dollar, and it is a digital version of the the Bahama Dollar. Issued by the country's monetary authority as a central bank digital currency, the announcement of the launch came via a tweet on Wednesday. The project is designed to bring more, they said, inclusive access to regulated payments and other financial services. Sure. Per the central bank's frequently asked questions, central bank digital currencies have been a hot topic this year. China, for instance, appears to be close to launching its digital yuan, which in the recent days has been its biggest trial. Others like the US, Russia, and the EU are, of course, looking into their respective central bank digital currencies as well. I think the news that we got before, that the Bahamas said that they were going to be launching their Sand Dollar in an effort to allow the other, I think, smaller islands within their region to also be able to have access to money. Sure, whatever excuse they actually need. This is the only one that I have. Of course, this is also very popular news, as it appears that the Bahamas is the first country to launch their own central bank digital currency. What's really weird is that they're not the first. It's actually Venezuela. I think just people don't count it because they're not meant to be part of the global financial world. So people look over it very rapidly. And I guess as they're not regulated, air quotes, regulation, and I guess the Bahamas Sand Dollar is, therefore it gets more of the spotlight. So a lot of people are very excited that this has launched. I'm not really sure why. I mean, I understand the idea of financial inclusion. But this is just a digitized version of whatever currency they had before, and it's not really meant for financial inclusion. It's to get more people into the market so that the government still has more control. It just is, it's all about money and control. That's all it ever really comes down to. We've heard that so many times throughout this year where they're like, we're going to create something and everyone's going to be included. And it's like, no, you're just trying to make sure how to figure out how to control every single aspect of where money is going. Because before, if other people on these islands were dealing in paper currency and were leaving the island for another island or going somewhere else, you couldn't keep track of their money. So it's always just about control. Let's move on. Also, in quite popular news, U.S. Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell addressed cross-border payments and digital currencies today at the annual meeting of the International Monetary Fund. He said there are a number of ways that a central bank digital currency might improve the payment system, and it is mainly this area that motivates our interest. This was said by Fed chairman during the meeting, identifying a principal reason as to why a central bank digital currency may come to the White House, come to the U.S. In the future. But it's fairly obvious that all these things have been created. They've been talking about them for a number of years now, and it was around it was even before summertime. It was once 19 really became a thing. That's when we started seeing a huge uptick in the amount of countries who were talking about issuing a central bank digital currency. I'm sure they already have these things already. They're just trying to figure out how to actually implement them. While addressing national digital currencies, Jerome Powell mentioned that each country has to consider its own stance on central bank digital currencies carefully, factoring in many things. Earlier this year, Powell picked out cyber issues and privacy issues as two areas that need to be considered for the U.S. Today, he alluded to these issues once again. For the Federal Reserve, our main focus is on whether and how a central bank digital currency could improve an already safe, effective, dynamic and efficient domestic, but it's not. Why do people lie like that? What's the point of? Remember the news that we had earlier this year when the first stimulus packages were being sent out, and there was a news that like some people wouldn't get it for like another 4 or 5 months because it had to be mailed to them, and then they tried to set up that whole thing with the post offices. For people to be able to go to a post office to get the system does not work. It's still absolutely terrible. I don't know why he had to feel the reason to lie right there. The point being, after all of this, I think a lot of people were very excited for his talk. I'm not sure if they assumed that he was going to be announcing with the IMF that the US was going to be launching their digital dollar. I'm not really sure exactly where a lot of the hype lay, if you will. These things are already created. They're probably just testing them behind the scenes. There was another, I don't have it in this video. There was another article, I'll try and bring it to you in another video or another time, where there was someone who was discussing the actual issuance and creation of a central bank digital currency and how it was basically going to be a mess. Because the European countries are going to try and do their own. The ECB is going to say no. Different states within America are also going to try and create their own central bank digital currency and say that this is the one that you should be using. And different banks are also going to be using it as well. Interoperability will basically not be a thing. I know I say this almost every other video, but I would love to be in the room with these discussions to see exactly how backwards they are, because without a doubt, like everyone's fighting. Like if you can be the people, the company, the organization, or the bank to create something that every other bank has to use, well then you basically have all the power. This is why we don't hear that much anymore about JP Morgan coin. Can you imagine every bank in the United States using JP Morgan coin? Can you imagine going to buy something and you have to pay in JP Morgan coin? It sounds nonsensical. Anyway, that's the IMF discussion talk. Sure, why not? Without further ado, let's move on. These things are going to be a mess regardless of what they do. Also in very popular news, for those of you not looking at the screen, the title says, is it end for, okay, it's supposed to be, is it the end for Bitmex? Exchange makes full verification mandatory for traders. Apparently what's been happening is, for those of you who don't know, Bitmex got into a little hot water a couple of days ago, a couple of weeks ago, or something like that. with local authorities because they didn't have proper anti-money laundering and know your customer identification on their website. Apparently, they've now made this mandatory or released a full official tweet stating its users to complete their full verification by the 5th of November of this year if they want to continue trading on the platform. There were a lot of, first of all, I don't use Bitmex. I don't know about Bitmex. I don't care about Bitmex. But the news constantly all over the place was, is Bitmex done? Are there just simply no more people who are going to use Bitmex because of their verification? Nearly every cryptocurrency exchange requires verification, so I don't see why people wouldn't simply just, if you've been using Bitmex for a long time and your money's on Bitmex, why would you take out all of your money to put it onto another cryptocurrency exchange? It just kind of seems a little bit redundant. So the main news being is that if you were using Bitmex, you now have to do a complete full verification if you want to continue trading on the platform. And also, is Bitmex going to go away? Is it the end of Bitmex? Probably not. Why would it be the end of Bitmex? They were one of the largest crypto exchanges on the planet. Their popularity might have faded. That is, of course, true. But then at the same exact time, if their popularity had fallen a little bit, the popularity of every single cryptocurrency exchange should have also fallen as well. If you lose faith in Bitmex, you should have lost faith in all of them because they can all do the exact same things. They can also stop you from moving your money around or taking your money out. So, logic sometimes, but it doesn't usually work out. It's like, I remember when the whole, oh gosh, what was it? When the Mt. Gox things happened, I forgot which exchange people were taking their money off of, and they were putting onto another cryptocurrency exchange, which was also very well known as a scammy website. And I was like, so you move it from one place to another that you also can't trust? It doesn't make a lot of... Anyway, that's the Bitmex news. And let's move on. Sure, why not? Go for it. News. New Zealand-based financial services company Power Finance plans to launch what it's called a world first, which is a digital version of the New Zealand dollar. Set to launch early next year, the digital currency will employ distributed ledger technology, or simply a blockchain. The Power Dollar, wow, the Power Dollar is not government-backed, however, and it is more akin to a stablecoin such as Tether than a true digital dollar. Tether is a digital dollar. I don't understand. There's the only real differences between these things come down to the actual classification or if they are backed by a government. They're still the exact same thing. They're just fiat that has been digitized. It is being set up privately and will be backed one for one by the New Zealand dollar, held by Inland Revenue through its tax pooling system. The company is led by a former PricewaterhouseCoopers banking and capital markets partner Dave Corbett and is backed by British investment firm Centrality. Some of these companies have really weird names. It's not just me, right? It's not just me. These Power Finance, Centrality Ventures. Okay. By using DLT in conjunction with smart identity technology, all currency holders will have their identities verified and transactions recorded. That's it. That's exactly what it is. Everything in the future will be about your identity, what you're doing, what you're using, when you're using it, where you've been, how long you've been there. We're already basically there right now, but this is going to be the main point of the future. Every transaction that you make, this is why we've had the discussions before about the potential perils of central bank digital currencies, or even other centralized coins, or coins that do not plan on having private transactions on them. Everything you do will be tracked and traced. Once again, we already have a lot of these things right now, and it's only going to be accelerated in the future, helping to prevent money laundering and fraud, which is also really funny because we keep getting news about once a month about a bank who is doing some type of money laundering themselves. What was the other one? There was one a couple of weeks ago. They were found, I think, like billions of dollars worth of gold or something like that. It's always the same. Over and over. The rules don't apply to them, but they apply to everyone else. You have a good 5 people making the rules for 300 million other people, and it just seems interesting. Corbett said that the new currency has been developed to function with current regulations, and apparently I think the Reserve Bank has kind of given them like a hat nod and been like, yeah, sure, go for it. Why not? This is happening all over the place. Everyone's desperate to try and do it. And I think at this point, it's more of a race to see who can not only create one, but get theirs adopted the most. I think a lot of people did not assume that Tether was going to become as popular as it did, or as it currently is. Even the news that we had before that Tether's market cap is going to pass by Ethereum's next year, which makes no sense because all Ethereum has to do is rise by like 8% and then it becomes a non-factor anymore. I think Tether would have to triple right now in order to... Anyway, sure, why not? I think this may be the first time that we've actually had news of a New Zealand digital dollar, so that's something completely new and different. But every other country is also working on their own as well. Just logical. And let's move on. Also in, oh wow, this actually makes sense news. Remember yesterday when we saw Dash going up and it made no sense? I think it went up by like 12% or something like that. The Dash team has recently announced their token's entrance into Ethereum's DeFi ecosystem. DeFi development company Stakehound will lead the initiative by creating Ethereum-wrapped tokens called Staked Dash. The Dash team has indicated that the wrapped token will launch later this year. And there's a little tweet right there. This initiative is comparable to existing tokenized versions of other cryptos, such as wrapped Bitcoin, like how wrapped Bitcoin is used in DeFi apps. Staked Dash tokens will be used for liquidity contributions to DeFi applications like Uniswap and help token holders from the community earn enticing yields. Wonderful. This development opens up a second opportunity to earn extra rewards. First, it is locking tokens in master nodes and earning annual rewards. The second is by generating staked Dash tokens, which may be used for yield farming and DeFi apps. This is being done out of desperation. No one uses Dash. No one talks about Dash. No one's going to be using Dash. I think the most used privacy coins are Zcash and Monero, if I am not mistaken. I'm pretty sure that that's what it is. I think Monero leads in some sort of way. I don't keep track of them because they're not part of my portfolio. The main point being, no one cares about Dash. This is another dramatic attempt at trying to stay relevant. Remember the news that we had a couple days ago about Tron? How Tron was basically mimicking every single thing that Ethereum did. And now Dash is trying to lock itself up inside of Ethereum to make itself more scarce and give other people an incentive to actually use it. The incentive should be that our coin is great, you should be using us in the first place. But it has no actual use case. Dash is no longer the only coin that has private transactions. There are at least 50 of them. Especially when you want to, it's even right here. When you even want to talk about the Litecoin thing with Mimblewimble, by the beginning of next year, Litecoin's also going to have completely private transactions as well. What's the point of using Dash? What's the point of buying Dash, locking your Dash inside of Ethereum, getting staked Dash, and then taking that staked Dash and having to put it on another platform where you then also lock it up to be able to get rewards? Wouldn't it just make more sense just to buy Ethereum and start staking that as opposed to going through a 5-tier system? Anyway, so it makes sense as to why the price of Dash went up yesterday. I am going to assume it had to do with the fact that they're finding a brand new use case for their coin because no one's actually using them. No one's using a lot of these coins, FYI. I'm not sure if you know that. I think one day I'll tell you the full extent of what's actually happening within the cryptocurrency space. No one's using these coins. The actual usage that you see is on cryptocurrency exchanges, and that's the volume that you're actually picking up on. No one's using a lot of these platforms anymore. No one finds value in them because, once again, logic. These are all computers. These are all based off of the exact same system. If this can be updated and upgraded, so can Bitcoin. It just needs another layer, and it can do exactly what Dash does. Always keep that in mind. We're going to see a lot more coins in the next coming months. If we start seeing the price really start jumping relatively soon for the entire cryptocurrency market, we're going to start getting a lot of news like this, that everyone's trying to lock themselves inside of another protocol. It's going to be inside of Ethereum because they're all trying to lock themselves inside of Ethereum, and then they're going to be creating other coins. I don't think I have it in here either. No, it's definitely not here. That guy from, was it Yearn Finance or Unicorn? Whoever the guy was who posted something on Twitter and people completely lost their minds and threw $15 million into it. He also just happened to make another brand new coin. So this is coin number 3 or number 4 over the course of the last 6 weeks that people keep trying to get other people to dump their money into it. It's just, don't fall for these things, and just understand these things are completely useless. I don't know how else to really say that. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters: Professor Wally from Gunbite University, Tolek Banan, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Decentralized Peter, Navarro Williams, David James, Attila the Han, Yasha Harari, Oscar Maldonado, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Joshua Vineyard, Martin Steuer, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Mohar Maroni, Master Ventures in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll Network, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Damian Setsuna, Richie Rich III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Mangia, Lavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Garner, Jamie Fox, Minting Coins, Miller, Hitch Test Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day, Yes to Crypto, Bodemic, Boatface, Anytime Fitness, Mouse Corner Staff, Arfmedic 17, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger, Macho Nisa, On Crypto with Lionel, Crayola, Michelle, URL, and Bolero Bastos. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to everyone who is a member of the channel. Thank you to everyone in general for being your awesome selves. At the moment, Bitcoin is currently up by 3.27%. It is sitting at 12,183 US dollars. Whenever we have a leg up, there's always a little movement back down. We saw this right here as well. I give it some time. I have a feeling, not that I was going to say I think this could be it. I think we will see very good things coming out of the next couple of days, especially if we get wind of that stimuli actually being real. Nothing too insane in the prices, I think, at all really going on. Everything is really just waiting for Bitcoin to kind of move. A lot of the DeFi coins, of course, are falling and or crumbling because DeFi is not that hot anymore. Nope, nothing too crazy. Waves is up by 7%, and you already know what I'm going to say. The trading volume is 92 million. If you have 25 million to pump into that market, well, that's how you pump a coin. I do hope you're all having a great day, great morning, great afternoon, great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. I have a lot of stuff to do today. Sorry for the rush, but I got stuff to do. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. See you all tomorrow, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.